All right, this video I want to make is going to be a review video of this particular model and brand overall. Um, and what just let you know what we are. We're just an independent repair shop. We just work in all brands and ages of electric fence boxes. We don't have any ties to any brand. We don't work for any brand. We don't get free stuff or sponsored by any brand. We just work on fence boxes for every brand you can think of, old style, new style. We help out a lot with troubleshooting and repairs via phone calls, emails, that sort of stuff. But we get a lot of repairs in from all over the United States. So we see a good variety of what's good and what's bad and the issues that things have. And so I wanted to do a video on this one. This is a Parmak unit, it's American made unit here in actually not too far from where I live at. About an hour drive or a little less from where I live at. This is where this brand is made at, so not that far. And I've been down to their facility a bunch of times for picking up parts and chit chat with them and stuff. But the Parmak overall is a pretty okay company. Brand wise, they're an okay brand of fence chargers. I mean, they're not the greatest by any means. I don't think they are. I mean, they're old ones back when they had the metal cases and the needle gauges. Those ones are really, really good. A lot less complex. I wish they would, tweak them a little bit. Maybe have a combination of old style, new style. They could probably revamp them a little bit, and I think make them a little bit more reliable. Myself, they've when they went to this digital stuff about 10 years ago or 12 years ago or so, they were pretty good. I mean, they had their little issues, but they'd run, 7, 8, 9 years maybe. But this particular one, this is an SE5, it's a newer, later version. It's not the new, it's the newest version now internally because we've worked on it, got it going, had to update some of the parts in there to make it work right. But for the money, they're not bad. I mean, they're like this unit's a 50-mile range, which is a single strand of clean fence. I would say it's like a 5 joule unit, give or take. Is what I would call it. They kind of rate their numbers weird. They've got like high joules range, low joule range. I don't know. That could be stored joules, output joules, maybe what they call it. I think it's like 6.5 output or stored, and like 4.5 output or something like that. I don't know. So I'd say it's a 5 joule unit. So 5 joule unit for like $160 or whatever. So pretty decent amount of charge for the money, and nowadays in the last like 2 years they've had a 3-year warranty now. I think since about 2018 or something like that, they've got a 3-year warranty now on their stuff, so which is nice. They've been 2 years for a long time, like a lot of brands were, but I think Gallagher was one of the first or second brands to go to a 3-year warranty, and then Speedrite followed suit about a year and a half later, and I think after Gallagher did, and I think Parmak did it about 6 months to a year after Gallagher did. They went to a 3-year warranty as well. So, but now the good thing about these units is they're fairly cheap to buy. For a fence charger. They also have this digital readout, which is kind of nice. People can just walk by and look. Okay, if it's a high number, we're doing good. Low number, we're doing bad. For fence conditions. And don't always rely on this number. If you got a good quality fence tester, you want to use that to test. And this number isn't always, it's gimmicky to a point because it says it says fence volts is kilovolts. Right there is what it says, fence voltage in kilovolts. So 15,000 volts, what this supposedly puts out. But if you put a fence tester across there, you're going to get about between 7 and 9,000 volts with a fence tester. There's not any brand out there with a good quality fence tester that's accurate that will show you that's reading over 10. Not very many brands. Most brands are between 6 and 9, maybe 8 to 10 is a more average range. But seeing some brands be around 6, 6.5. And on some models and some other models, the same brand, they were like 8 to 10. But most brands are usually between 7 and 9, give or take. So, what I don't like about them is the quality of them is not the greatest. Their parts are cheaper. So it's cheap price, cheap brand, cheap parts. So, if you spend a little bit more money on a different brand, you probably get a little bit longer life out of one. That sort of thing. But this particular unit was a 2015 model. No lightning damage I could see. Just The unit was just dead. It had no power at all. I think it lit up 0, 0, but no clicking and no output from it at all. It wouldn't, so and I opened it up and it was clean inside. Didn't smell funny. Nothing was burnt. It was just dead. It wouldn't work. So we had to put new parts in there and took off like a shot. So it's working fine now. But the guy got 5 years out of it. I guess if you're expecting things to go 4, 5, 6 years, this would be a good unit for you. But if you want something that's going to last you 10 plus, you might want to think about a different brand. They are what they are. I mean, there's worse brands out there. I'd buy a Parmak over a Zariba unit 10-1. I might, if I was really pinching pennies, I'd buy a Parmak, I guess, or maybe a Power Wizard might be another brand. But if I had the extra money to fork over, I'd probably buy a Gallagher or a Cyclops. It's probably where I would put my money if you want something that'll last you more than 5 years, maybe closer to 10 plus. That's the brand I would go with, probably Gallagher. But yeah, you won't get 10 years out of a Parmak. They're just not designed to last that long. This is how they are. 30 years ago, 25 years ago, probably, but not anytime soon. Not in the recent years for this brand. So, but they're okay for the money, but don't expect to get a long life out of them. I mean, for the power that you get, you get a pretty good shock from it. I would say safely, if you're going to fence off a certain area, I would say maybe a couple 150 acres is probably what I would do with this one. Maybe 175. I wouldn't go much bigger than that with this unit. It's got a nice, pretty good bite to it. But I say a clean fence or single strand, probably a couple 100 acres, give or take. But I would say that might be kind of pushing it. But on a multi-wire fence or some fence with a lot of vegetation on there, I would say 100 acres to 150. I really wouldn't push it much further than that. If you do, I'd have to say jump to a different brand that's got a bigger charger. But for most 10 acres or 50 acres, that would run that all day long with no problems. If you go much bigger, then you sort of have to look at things a little bit, and don't always believe that stupid mileage rating. Don't always look at that stuff. That's a marketing gimmick thing. So don't always look at that stupid thing. But all right, well, that's it for me. So if you got any other questions, get a hold of us. There's our information right there. And so if you got a fence chart needs worked on, we'll be happy to look at it. But until next time, we'll see you guys later on.